Local content doesn't come for free, it always comes at the cost, and often the trade-off is against revenue because
and
it
the cost
increases
is on
costs.
the company?
Typically is, particularly if it's enforced through requirements what companies have to deliver. But I think the important thing to remember is also that achieving local content or local participation actually has a very strong public responsibility angle to it. And I don't think it's the solution to tell companies that they're responsible for that, because if you're really looking for sustainable sort of enterprises and economic activities, it's often the sorts of things that the smaller and the medium-sized companies require that large companies will be able to internalize if they're forced to through quota, or if they think it makes economic sense for them. So for example, they would train their own technicians, but the smaller and medium scale local companies will have a much greater difficulty to do that and can't economically do that unless the public sector actually supports that. And that's really where I guess the focus under the diversification ought to shift a lot more back to what are countries in terms of their public policies and the coordination of their ministries, different agencies, departments doing to trying to support where there are real opportunities for wider economic benefits coming on the back of extractive projects. The challenge might be that partly the sort of debate around good sector governance has often been sort of more an adversarial one party versus the other party, and of course that was a sort of negotiation process.
So meaning government versus the private sector?
Government versus the private sector as a negotiation party, and then also do we have to look on what companies are agreeing, are those deals right, and are they looking for the best deals for themselves but not thinking about the development angle. It's sort of an adversarial standpoint, whereas looking for opportunities where you could potentially diversify is a lot more about learning from each other, sharing information at the right time, then taking steps on the back of what might develop and then getting parties together, and that's a different type of working together, different type of engagement.